Well, I was raised Catholic in India, but I think it was more of a social Christianity, I kind of appreciated what Christianity had done for India. But it wasn't until later that I began to sort of rediscover my faith. And deepen. And I think it's mainly when our family moved to California about 10 years ago. We started, my wife and I, my wife's evangelical Christian, and we started going to a Calvary Chapel church in San Diego. And I found my own faith deepening. And interestingly, about the same time, or a few years later, the new atheism began to come out a little. And then I looked at it and I said, wow, here's an opportunity to bring my faith and my work closer together. So although I've been a secular writer for 15 years, I've appreciated the chance to put one foot at least in the world of Christian apologetics. I think today there are two. One is simply that modern science, and specifically evolution, has made it unnecessary to talk about a creator. There's another way for the diversity of life to have shown up, and that is the Darwinian way. So evolution is offered, and science more generally, as an alternative to faith. The second argument, I think, is somewhat new, and it's the argument that Christianity is not merely erroneous, it's harmful. Here would be the idea that the Old Testament God is a tyrant, and moreover, the idea that religion causes people to do bad stuff. Look at 9/11, look at the radical Muslims, look at the Crusades and the Inquisition and the religious wars. So the legacy, the footprint of Christianity, but of religion more generally, has been bad for humanity. And so those are the two lines of argument against Christianity. I think the church's problems are, number one, most people would probably focus on hypocrisy, the idea that church leaders say one thing and do another. That's not a new problem, because that's in human nature. It's not new that there is greed and avarice and human motives in the church, which is an institution. To me, more troubling is the fact that the church lives in a fog. In other words, it uses what you can call the in-house argument. How do we know Jesus is the Son of God? Because it says so in the Bible. How do we know we can trust the Bible? Because God wrote it. How do we know God wrote it? Because it says it in the Bible. Now, again, that kind of stuff, only works in a closed circle, but it doesn't penetrate into secular culture. So to me, one of the big problems, at least the problem I'm concerned about, is the issue of how do we communicate Christianity in a manner accessible to others. It's almost like a special kind. Think of the early Christians. They had to sell Christianity to people who were not Jewish, who believed in many gods. And so they couldn't just say, hey, the scriptures say so, or they had to cross that bridge between where they're coming from and where the other guy's coming from. So that's what I try to do in my work. Well, I think that we think of Christianity and of these issues as being purely faith-based, but there's a powerful Christian intellectual tradition that is an important part of the Christian armory, you could call it. I think particularly young Christians need to have some good arrows in their quiver to go out into secular culture. And we're better than in a university to try to raise the intellectual tone, challenge young people, not merely to have faith, yes, but also to have a reasonable faith. Think about, why do I believe the things I do? How would I defend them if I was up against the wall? And so I think that this is a perfect venue to do that.